Hi, everyone. Welcome to Pittsburgh CLO Close-Ups. I'm Olivia O'Connor. I'm the manager of new work development at Pittsburgh CLO, and we are back for our bi-weekly episode of Close-Ups. Every other Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern, we are live on Facebook or YouTube. If you're watching us live, hi, thank you so much for being here. Please say hi in the comments so that we know you're here. And as you're listening to the conversation today, if you find yourself curious about anything, please feel free to drop your questions in the comments. We can pull them on over and ask our guests. These episodes are also recorded and posted to our website, our Facebook, our YouTube. So if you're watching us in the future, hello. Thank you for finding us. And please do like, share, subscribe to get a heads up about when we are going live next. So today, I am so excited to be welcoming six guests in 2 segments to chat with us today about our Gallery of Heroes program. Gallery of Heroes is coming up on its 35-year anniversary, and this amazing program tours original 50-minute musicals about important historical figures to schools all across Western Pennsylvania, even sometimes West Virginia. And in addition to teaching students about these historic heroes, the shows connect their lives to the academic curriculum, and they impart real-life lessons about things like perseverance, self-confidence, and creativity. And of course, they introduce students to the magic of musical theater right in their very own schools. In the 35 years, this program was established in 1985. In the 35 years since its inception, it has reached an astonishing number, more than 1 million students in our region, which is crazy. We are so very proud of this program, both because of the students that it has reached, educated, inspired, and because so many of the artists who got their start in a Gallery of Heroes tour have gone on to maintain relationships with CLO, whether as performer, writer, faculty member, staff member. You're going to hear many of those stories today. So in our first segment, I am so happy to welcome the writing team of our 2019 Gallery of Heroes tour, Beyond the Moon, Joe Domencic and Christina McCann. Beyond the Moon tells the story of 15-year-old Maya, who has dreams of being the first person to set foot on Mars. The journey will take a lot of effort and persistence, and Maya is helped along by great NASA astronauts from history, including Neil Armstrong, Mae Jemison, and Jose Hernandez. Over the course of the show, we learn that with hard work, even ordinary people can do extraordinary things. The show was developed in our 2018 Spark Festival, and the tour, directed by David Cabot, toured in 2019. That tour coincided with the 50th anniversary of Neil Armstrong's moonwalk and with an exhibition about the Apollo 11 mission at the Heinz History Center. The tour reached more than 34,000 students in 117 performances. It is such a delight, and I can't wait to chat with Joe and Christina about it. In addition to being its authors, they are Pittsburgh area performers, teachers. Joe has also written another Gallery of Heroes show, and they have really deep roots with this program. So let's say hi to them. Hi, Joe. Hi, Christina. Hello! Across the interwebs. So nice to see you both.
Great to see you, Olivia.
Good to be here.
Welcome. So tell us, Joe and Christina, how you are and where you are right now.
Okay, well, we're doing really well.
Good.
Like everyone else, everything's been kind of crazy. so we're doing well. Yeah.
We're here in we live in Murraysville. We're here in our dining room with our Beyond the Moon set.
Yes.
Our daughter's art easel.
So that's our set design for the day.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you for doing your own set dressing. That's so kind of you. I love it. And so, Joe and Christina, to kick us off, tell us a little bit about your histories with this program and with CLO. I know you have a particularly amazing aspect of your history with Gallery of Heroes. So tell us just a little bit about how you came to the program, how you've worked with CLO across these many years.
Well, I first came to it actually in 2001. So I'm aging myself a little bit, but I've done 6 Gallery of Heroes shows. And then in 2003, Joe and I actually met performing in a Gallery of Heroes show called Footprints on the Moon.
Another space show.
I love that. That's it. That's incredible. And so you were both actors in the tour in 2003, you said?
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
And since, yeah, go ahead, Joe.
But in 2004, I was, we did young Mark Twain. I was the old Mark Twain, had the wig and the great white suit and everything. But so I did 2 tours. She has me beat by many tours.
6. Yeah, but we did 2 together, so that was nice.
Yeah.
It's the only time we've ever performed together, actually.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, really? I had no idea. And because, Christina, you've been in other CLO shows as well. Christmas Carol, right, Christina? For you, multiple Christmas carols as well.
Yeah. He's done a ton.
Well, I did Christmas Carol too, just never at the same time. And
wow.
I did cabaret shows and a couple, and then some of the summer season. Most of my time was spent over at the Cabaret and Forever Plaid, and I Love You, You're Perfect, and some of those early shows of the Cabaret.
Amazing.
This day, and this is not just because we're talking about this. One of the most rewarding, and it's not just because I met my future wife. One of my most rewarding performances as an actor was doing Footprints on the Moon.
Really? Wait, tell us more about that.
Well, there was something just magical about it. I mean, the actors will talk more about it when they come on later too, but there is just nothing, for me, there's nothing like that audience. There's nothing so, there they are sitting cross-legged on a gym cafetorium, as we like to say. And we come in and we put up our set and they're so honest. They're so wide-eyed. They
sometimes they're in a large auditorium. Sometimes they're 5 feet away from you, anywhere from 5 years old to 18 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, there is something about the program. We're such believers in it and in what it does. And I don't know if I've ever had that feeling where just every day I come thinking, boy, what good I've done, because I got to be a part of bringing these stories and in musical theater to these young people. It's a special thing. That's the God's honest truth. That's something very rewarding about it.
I actually got my start in elementary education. So I taught second grade myself out of college. And when I stopped doing that and started doing this, I thought it was just, as a teacher, I would love to have, these programs come to the school. So it was so rewarding to actually be on, see it from a different end and perform for so many, not just teach one class, but perform for just thousands and thousands of students and get the kind of feedback that you get from teachers and students. It's just really, heartwarming.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, and what an amazing kind of full circle moment to have written the show, also about space, to have started in the program, now to be the artist behind this tour that reached so many students. And did your experience as actors on the tour influence your writing of the show? Because it's such a challenging thing to take real history and to kind of connect it to our contemporary world in a way that's going to resonate with students. So tell us a little bit about the inspiration for the show and how you approach that writing process.
Well, so for the inspiration, when we knew we were going to write the show, we were obviously thinking of, what can we write about? Where should we start? And so then I happened to notice that it was the 50th anniversary of, the Apollo 11 moon landing. And I just happened to read in the news that one of 5 cities to get the Columbia module was Pittsburgh. And it was going to coincide, with the beginning of when the tour would start. And it all just seemed to click. And the fact that we did meet doing a space show was just, it was like everything was telling us, this is it. This is what we should write about. And we should write about bringing the history of that mission to life, but then also talking about, what's the future of space? Where is NASA thinking of going? And that, happened to be going to Mars. So that's what we did on.
That's great. And one of the things I really love about the show is that it has this history element, it has a science and technology element, but as I said, these shows connect to real life lessons. And one of the things that has really stuck with me about Beyond the Moon is its message about celebrating failure and that failure is a necessary step on the path to success. You have to try and try again, keep iterating in order to be successful. Why was that message important to you? I feel like as writers, performers, teachers, parents, like there are so many places in which that's an important message to impart to kids.
It's a lesson I wish I had learned much younger than I did, because it's so important. And the character that embodies that in our show, Dr. Right, who said you don't have to be right, and he's also our comedic relief in a way, because he's this goofball guy, it's a mad scientist. To this day, we'll say to our daughter, well, what would Dr. Wright say? Say, I love mistakes, because as this teaching tool about how you don't have to be perfect. Because I have, this perfectionist tick in me, and and it really it can hold so many people back. And even when we were talking in development, when we were talking with Keisha Lalama, one of the things she had brought up, she said, this is really, I see this in schools. And she's an important educator in the area, and she was seeing it with her kids' schools, and so was other people. It was in the conversation, and then that only reinforced our thinking that this was an important thing.
Yeah, it's such a great message.
Mess up, get back up, and persevere.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and speaking of perfectionism in our work, so many people are curious whenever people are both married and collaborators, how that collaboration process works, how you manage to live together and write together. Talk to us a little bit about your process as collaborators.
I was the more annoying of the partners. I'll admit that.
We definitely work differently. And this was new for me. This was something that even when I started performing, that I always had a goal. I would love to write one. I would love to do this. Joe definitely had more experience. He had written, The Next Galileo before. So I was just so happy to get to experience that. But we definitely have a different process.
Yeah.
Well, one of the interesting, can I interrupt?
Yeah.
One of the interesting things that emerged was when we actually took ownership of certain parts of the piece more. Like she was the writer for the female characters. When you hear Mae Jemison's song and the lead character Maya, she was sort of the person in charge of that, and I had like the opening number and more the guys, and this would be, okay, my song, your song, and then we work together, but somebody would take the lead on something. There were a couple things where it was like that, you're in the piano and you're thinking up the lyric and the song together, that kind of yeah, that happened in a couple songs, like Candor and Ebb, the way they work together.
Right.
You hear about that. That's like the story. But a lot of times it was she'd form this and then we'd work through it, or I'd form this. And the thing that I thought was so interesting was I thought it added depth to the show, because the stuff she wrote for the women is stuff that I'd never have come up with. And I'd like to think that, then I offered stuff that she wouldn't have. I think, even though I could annoy her, of course, but we, I really think we complimented each other. And
I think we were really proud of the result too.
Yeah. Oh, as you should be. And that was, I wanted to ask, like, how often did you get to see the show after you got out of initial rehearsals? Did you get to see it in a school? I think you saw it at the History Center once. Tell us about actually watching it from outside, from your perspective.
Yeah. We saw it in a few schools, definitely. We saw it at the History Center. You might have seen it a couple more times than me, but I just think it was great, kind of sitting back and watching it and getting to see it with the children in the audience. And sometimes I would find myself watching the kids in the audience at a school more than the actual show. But it was really rewarding. It was a great experience.
And we were so lucky with this cast. They were so passionate and they're so good. They really brought it to life. We get to meet two of our daughter's heroes, really.
Yeah.
It's not really a song to our daughter. It's Sage. It's Sage's song.
Sage.
Yeah. Well, and we'll get to talk to her in just a little bit, which is awesome. We have two cast members here.
Yeah, the way they took ownership of it, and it was. it was really exciting. I would get chills every time.
That's great. So Christina and Joe, we are going to bring back a segment that those of you who watched Spark the Conversation, our Newark-centric live stream before we came back with this one joint live stream every other week. And that segment, folks, is Show and Tell. Yay! Show and Tell graphic. We haven't seen Show and Tell on close-ups yet, and I'm so very excited to be bringing it back. Christina is running to get the Show and Tell, Show and Tell big reveal. Well, while we're waiting for Christina, Joe, do you want to give us a little preview of what you'll be showing and telling us today? Tell a little teaser.
Here she is.
Yay!
She's the inspiration.
Yes.
Behind what we call the Astronaut Show.
Mm-hmm.
This is our daughter, Catherine.
Hi, Catherine.
Catherine, this is Olivia, who you've met.
Yeah, we met during auditions, but it's been a while. It's been a while. It's good to see you.
Want to say hi?
Hi. So Catherine, do you want to tell us a little bit about your experience with Beyond the Moon, with the Astronaut Show?
Yeah, my favorite two actors are Sage and Maya.
Oh, wow. Well, good thing they're here today. I'm glad those are your two favorite actors, because we're gonna be saying hi to them in just a little bit, to Sage and Sarah, who played Maya. And
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
No, I was going to say she knows the songs pretty well. It's been a while, but
She actually has a little ghost track on the end of
on our cast, yeah.
on our cast recording.
Oh my goodness, I have to take a listen to that. Yeah, folks, we're going to get to hear a song from Beyond the Moon at the end of our episode today, so you can all sing along at home, and Catherine, you can sing along too. Now, I know when I was talking to you all a little earlier this summer, you were getting ready to watch like the SpaceX launch, I want to say. And another cool thing happened, I guess not in space, but in the sky this week, when David Blaine went up with his balloons. I don't know if you saw that, but that's something to check out too. But Catherine or Joe or Christina, do you want to tell us a little bit about exciting things that you saw this summer in space?
Mm-hmm. Well, we did watch that. She actually saw a little bit of it on TV. Do you remember seeing when the spaceship went up on TV? Or you don't remember that? We saw some of that, and so that was exciting. After everything we had researched, and just actually seeing some of the future of space travel, come to, start to come to life.
Yeah.
I remember being more nervous than I think I would have been, because all our research made us realize how dangerous it all is, and here it was a new thing. So we were kind of on, pins and needles a little bit, but it was exciting. It was a real triumph.
Yeah, it really feels like we are living in the future. It's good to have some things to be optimistic about, especially these days. Good to have things to look forward to.
Yeah, I feel like every time, just with Footprints on the Moon and then writing this show, I feel like every time I read something about astronauts or space in the news, I find myself fascinated, and so it's really, piqued my interest even more than it already had.
Yeah. And Catherine, I forgot to ask you, so rude of me, how old are you?
5.
5.
What do you
Very
start?
cool.
I start kindergarten next week.
Congratulations. That's so exciting. And are you going in person to kindergarten, or are you going to start kindergarten on the computer, or a little bit of both?
Person.
In person. Very exciting. Are you looking forward to kindergarten?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what do you think, Catherine? I know you've got a long time to figure it out. Have you thought at all about what you might like to do when you're a little bit older with your life?
What do you want to be when you grow up?
A doctor.
A doctor? Oh, wow. Well, that's going to take a lot of persistence, just like in Beyond the Moon. So that failure lesson is going to come in handy, I'm sure. How amazing. Well, Catherine, I bet you're going to be a great doctor, or whatever else you decide to be. You've got a lot of time to change your mind. And we're also more than our jobs, I should say. Like, I know you always ask kids, what do you want to be? But it's just as important to just be a happy, healthy person doing whatever you want with your life. So regardless of what you do, Catherine, I'm sure you're going to be great. This is my first time interviewing a 5-year-old on close-ups.
Oh.
Very
Yeah.
we've had some visits from kiddos, but it's so nice to actually get to talk to you, Catherine. Was there anything else you wanted to tell us or share with us today?
Just how I don't think if it weren't for Gallery of Heroes, if it didn't exist, I don't think we would have written the show. It's one of those things where because the program is here, then we're inspired to then write something for it.
Yeah,
Because
that's great.
It's just a wonderful thing about this program.
Yeah.
That it does that. It offers inspiration to students and to writers and to actors, and
Absolutely.
We're grateful for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're so grateful to you, and it's so awesome to see your family, which is also like an outgrowth of this program. How incredible that these 3 people are in a room together because of the Gallery of Heroes tour, which is amazing. But before we let you go, Joe and Christina, I want to ask you a little bit about what you're up to right now. I know so much is up in the air with COVID, but I also know that, Joe, you have a really exciting process or project in process at Seton Hill, where you're a professor. So tell us a little bit about Songs of Suffrage.
We just announced this collaboration called Songs of Suffrage, where we're hoping that a lot of people will submit writing about all of these stories. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm learning that the women's suffrage movement is more than just a couple of people, and that it involves a much longer history and all these stories that have not been told. And there's so much energy about it and so much interest about it, and it's so timely. We thought it would be an exciting project that a lot of people could contribute writing to, contributing songs or scenes, and then we would put it together in a kind of review or collection of small works around that theme, and we're calling it Songs of Suffrage. This fall, we're asking for proposals and submissions, and you can go to the Seton Hill website and find the information about it. And we're hoping that it draws a big audience. We're really excited about it at Seton Hill, and we hope that it generates some excitement and does some good at the same time, just as we try to do in Gallery of Heroes.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you are watching and you are a writer, a composer, if you're interested in this, I believe the deadline, is it October 1st?
October 1st, just for a proposal.
For proposals only.
Yeah,
so
just for a proposal. So we can make sure if everybody chooses the same topic, we can say, by the way, someone else choose your topic. Do you want to do something else or not? Right. And then the submissions aren't due till the middle of December.
Oh, fantastic.
And you're not writing a whole musical, you're writing a song or a scene. So it's a manageable project.
Right. And the hope is to share this material sometime this spring, either in person or virtually, depending on where we are.
April and May in the spring, our students will be dedicated in a class to it, workshopping the production, and we hope the writers will be involved. And then in April and May, we'll have a performance.
Fantastic. Oh, that's wonderful. Well, folks, if you are interested, check out Seton Hill's website. There's also a great Broadway World article that talks about the program and what they've got in the hopper. So check it out. Joe and Christina, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to chat with us about your history with the program, your amazing work on this show. And like I said, you're going to get to hear a track from the show at the end of this episode. You're also going to meet 2 of Catherine's heroes, Sage and Sarah, in just a moment. So stick with us. Stay tuned. Joe, Christina, thank you so much. I hope to see you in person soon.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Good to see you both. All right, folks. So before we move into our next segment, I want to take a moment to talk about the future of Gallery of Heroes. As I said to Joe and Christina, so much of the past 6 months, especially in our industry, has been about news of closings, cancellations, postponements. So it is really exciting to get to talk about something that is being generated right now that we can look forward to, and that is the next Gallery of Heroes commission. So I am so excited to announce that Nambi E. Kelly and Joe Plummer have been commissioned to write the next Gallery of Heroes show, which is going to be touring in regional schools in winter and spring of 2022. Nambi and Joe are incredible artists in multiple disciplines, writing, composing, performing, choreographing. Nambi has performed all over the country. You might have seen her on stage here in Pittsburgh in City Theater's 2018 production of Pipeline. She's the author of a celebrated adaptation of Native Son and of the upcoming Phenomenal Woman, a bioplay about Maya Angelou that's going to premiere at North Carolina Black Repertory Company in 2021 and is also eyeing a Broadway run. Jo is the Chief Creative Officer at Tri-Coastal Entertainment and an award-winning writer and composer whose work has been produced in Chicago, Houston, Minneapolis, and here in Pittsburgh at the New Horizon Theater. We are so very excited about this project. We are so grateful to Nambi and Jo for generating this and sharing their time and talent to create right now. We're going to keep you posted as that show comes into being, and we can't wait to share it with Pennsylvania audiences in the near future. All right, our next segment, we are going to be welcoming 4 alums, although I heard that Jason had some connectivity issues, so maybe 3, hopefully 4, alums of the Gallery of Heroes program: Sarah DeFiore, Jason Shavers, Jim Scriven, and Sage Smith. This group of people, one of them has done 9 Gallery of Heroes tours. One of them has done 8. 2 of them have done 1. I'll let you guess who's who, or maybe they'll be kind enough to tell you. And in addition, their stories really show what it's like to be a working artist in Pittsburgh. You've seen Sage on stage at Pict in Point Park. From what I hear, Sarah is working on her own musical right now. Jason is a treasure of the Pittsburgh theater scene and comedy scene. He's been on stage at CLO many times, and he's also one of our faculty members at the Academy. And Jim, in addition to his history with Gallery of Heroes, who's also a CLO intern and is now our Associate Education Director. So really, speaking of full circle, just a lot of full circles here today. I'm so excited to say hi to them and welcome them to the show. So let's say hi to everybody. Hi, Sage. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Jim. Yay, you all made it. Hello. Welcome. Thank you all so much for being here. So this, folks, this is the Sage and the Sarah that you just heard about, the icons from Beyond the Moon here in the Almost Flesh. Thank you so much for being here, and Jason and Jim. So folks, let's go around and we'll say who we are and tell me a little bit about your history with Gallery of Heroes, how you came to the program, and if you've got a longer CLO story of your involvement, by all means, please share that too. So give us your little CLO bio. Sage, I'll kick it to you first.
Okay, hi. So I'm Sage. I went to Point Park University for musical theater. I also went to Pittsburgh Kappa for musical theater, and that's where I met David Cavett. He was my theater teacher there. And then he thought of me actually while I was on another school tour with Theater Squared, which is based in Arkansas. And so I was literally about to go into a school, and Keisha gave me the call that she wanted me to be a part of the Gallery of Heroes tour for 2019. And so that's how I got a part of it. Yeah, that was it.
Yay. Sarah?
Well, hi, I'm Sarah. I was in Beyond the Moon, the Gallery of Heroes tour in 2019. I'm from Cleveland, so I was hearing about the Pittsburgh CLO auditions for a while just because it was nearby, and went in for the Gallery of Heroes tour. It worked out, and then ended up being like one of the best experiences of my life. I studied psychology and family studies in college, so I was really interested in working with kids, and I love writing and theater and want to combine those two things at some point. So it was a really great experience.
Awesome. Welcome, Sarah. Jason.
Yeah. I did my first Gallery of Heroes show in 2006, which was Arriba, the Roberto Clemente story. And then I stayed with the program for 9 years. And in the course of those 9 years, I became a faculty member at the CLO Academy. I was a props master for 2 shows at the CLO Cabaret, and then went on to be in 3 cabaret shows, First Date, Perfect Wedding, and Game On. And I'm still a teacher at the Academy.
Awesome. And Jim, last but not least.
Yes. Like you said, Olivia, I was an intern in the education department in 2004. And then I was asked to audition for Gallery of Heroes in 2005, right after I graduated from college. And so I jumped in there and I did 8 Gallery of Heroes tours, many of which overlapped with Jason. We spent lots of good times together in the van, traveling around Pittsburgh. And but then since then, I have taught at the academy, worked with the Gene Kelly Awards. I have, you know, and then worked my way up through the education department, and now I get to see everything from an administrative side as the associate education director. I also work closely with our Creative Vision program, which is really exciting, and a different way that we work in schools. We actually, our Creative Vision program teaches musical theater classes in our schools. So it's really fun to be on all sorts of different levels working with the students around the area.
Awesome. I love that we have two sets of co-stars here, that we've got Sage and Sarah, and we've got many time co-stars, Jason and Jim. So folks who are watching at home may be hearing these numbers like 1 million students, 34,000 students, 117 performances, and it sounds crazy. So I would love to hear from one or all of you, feel free to jump in because this may have changed over time too, what a typical day on the tour looks like.
It starts early, to say the least. We would have some call times as early as like, I remember we had to meet up before the Burger King started serving breakfast. Those were some early mornings. And you would meet up and we would drive in a van and a box truck and get to the school, set up our set, do the show in the morning, most days, and then go somewhere for lunch and then go to another school and do another show. Or sometimes, you know, 3 to 4 shows at one school in a day. It was a full day. A very full day. It was like a school day for us, but it was fun.
Other folks, what this experience is like? How early is early? Like if the school day starts at 7:40.
There were a lot of, oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Sarah.
Okay, I was just gonna say there were a lot of days because I would go to Einstein's to get coffee and a bagel like most days. There were some days I'd be like waiting there for them to open, like so that I could like pick it up and then like go to the parking lot so we could drive. Because sometimes the schools would be like a little bit of a drive away from where we all met in that one parking lot in the van. So it was like a little road trip.
So there were some shows that would start as early as 7:30 or 7:45. So we had to be at the school an hour before to make sure we had time to set up the set, get ready. Those are really pretty early, but you can imagine we had some really, really early days, you know, even when we would beat the traffic into town. But we would meet up in the 6 o'clock hour was not uncommon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Once you can do that. Oh, go ahead, Sage.
I just wanted to add, if you're the one driving the van or the box truck, then you have to wake up even earlier because the van driver picks up all the other people in the cast. So I remember waking up at like before the sun and getting to the parking lot before the sun, just kind of like internally crying a little bit, but knowing we're about to like cause joy to kids' lives. So
Right. Yeah. Well, that is so wild. And if you can do that, like if you can be ready to perform at 7:30 in the morning, I feel like you can do anything. And also this tour, I mean, it teaches you so many other things. Like you said, Sage, you're driving a box truck. Like it really is an all-inclusive sort of beginning to end. It's just you guys. I guess sometimes we do have a stage manager who's not actually performing. But still, it really is a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of like jack of all trades ability to jump from putting up a set to warming up to sometimes doing Q&As with kids after the show. So it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, we earned our wages.
And I want to ask, you know, we talked about this a little bit with Joe and Christina, but I would love to hear from all of you too, what it's like to perform for student audiences. So you're performing for a really wide range of ages, anywhere from 3rd grade to 12th grade, although I believe most of the shows are in the kind of middle school arena, 5 through 8 is the majority. But still, performing for students, I think they can be really generous audiences. They also are maybe tough critics. I don't know. Tell me about it. Like, what kind of reactions do you get from students?
I think Joe hit it on the head with what he said earlier about how they're the most honest audience you can ever have. A lot of times the kids that we go to see, this is the first time they've ever seen a live performance. anywhere. They only think of it as a movie. They don't necessarily know that they can't talk out loud or ask questions to people. But it's truly honest. They give you their honest opinion. They laugh really hard if they think that you're funny. But they'll react to in any way that they think that it's a genuine reaction. So I think it's, exactly what you're going into. How the show is being received immediately. You don't have to wait till the end. And it makes it exciting. It makes it fun, and everything is different. Every group is different. Whether you have a bunch of kindergarten through 8th graders, or you're doing it for a middle school group. Everything is different. Every space is different. So the fact that we did a lot of tours where we would do up to 135 shows, but every single one is different. And being able to adapt to that was, I think, one of the most informative experiences I ever had as an actor.
Yeah. Anyone else want to jump in on that?
It's really rewarding when we were performing for, like that age, it's like 13 to like maybe high school, and they see it and they like kind of have their like arms crossed a little bit, like sizing us up. And then by the end of the show, they're all clapping, because like we just want to give positive energy. And so like, yeah, they might be tough at first just because they feel like they might be too old for it, or they would rather not be in school that day. But it really does just depend on the energy that you give them.
Yeah.
It was also really sweet, especially with the younger ones who like thought that we were like real astronauts, and we really like went to, like, that was, I don't know, that kind of like magic and excitement was just really sweet and a little bit contagious, I think. And it was, it was really easy to make it an uplifting experience.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Jason, anything on your mind in terms of audience? Oh, John Lloyd, Jason Shavers. Here he is.
The audience is, I'm not going to add anything that these people haven't already said. It was very rewarding, sometimes challenging. But the magic that we would see in these kids' eyes afterwards, and knowing that they learned stuff. I mean, I've had people who are now young adults, because I've been doing it for so long, that come up to me and go, "I know you. You came to my school." And I'm like, "Oh, you remembered something like that. That's amazing to me." So, it's nice to know that we had that kind of impact on a kid's life and their education.
I think that's a big word that Jason and I remember us talking on some of those days that we were really early or we were really tired, and we kind of would remind each other, hey, we're here. We want to make sure that we get an impact on at least a few of these kids, whether it's inspire them to be performers, know that this is an option for you. They may not have known that, or, inspire them to be the next hero that we're writing a story about.
That's awesome. And that's actually a great segue to my next question for all of you, because as you said, for many of the students, this is their first exposure to theater, and taking off your kind of artist hats for a second and remembering who you were as a little kid or as a teenager. I'm assuming that you had some sort of impactful experience, whether with theater or music or the performing arts, that led you down this path to be theater professionals now. Does anyone remember what one of those early kind of formative experiences was in your own life?
For me, when I was really little, like I think 3 years old, we had a tape of the Peter Pan live on stage performance, and I would watch it like every day and sing along. And then it got to the point where I was doing this for years. Like I was still doing this like 2 years later, like, do the different parts and stuff. But that was definitely what it was for me.
For me, there was, I think a lot of it started on, rainy days. My mom would put on old movie musicals, and like Seven Brides for Seven Brothers and Singing in the Rain. All those Gene Kelly things that I watched as a kid were really inspiring to be like, hey, look, he looks really cool doing that. That looks really fun. I want to do that. And then so when I kind of got to middle school, and then I got the bug and learned how fun and rewarding it is to make people happy when you're performing, and that, you can change minds, you can change. I think theater and art is amazing in that way, especially, when we're doing education stuff. Again, I always come back to the impact, and how incredible it is. But those things inspired me as a little kid, and then it just kind of went from there.
Yeah, Sage, Jason, do you remember the first or one of the first?
I remember right around my 10th birthday, my mom took me to see the national tour of The Wiz, starring the original Dorothy, Stephanie Mills.
Wow.
And I think that might have been the first time I actually saw like a live theater production, and I remember so much from that and just being in awe. I didn't know that it would, when I tried theater myself a couple of years later, that it had that big of an impact on me, but it did. It definitely did.
Wow, Stephanie Mills, that's crazy. I think for me, it was probably, I'm trying to go back. I think it was maybe the Cinderella, the Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella on the tape with Brandy. I think I saw that, and I just saw her singing, and like those are probably like the first songs that I learned, and like maybe even one of the first times that I saw like a Black girl, you know, performing like that before, which probably gave me the confidence to do it later. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. These are some iconic first experiences with theater. I love it. That's amazing. And so, folks, before we kind of let you all go for the day, I do want to ask what the last 6 months of your lives have been like. And I know that we've all been asked that question a million different ways. And so feel free to answer it however you'd like. But I think because you've been asked it so many times, the frame that I would put on it, if it's helpful, is what did you think your last 6 months were going to be like? And what have they actually brought to your life? What's changed? What are you up to? What are you excited about? Tell us about what's going on in your lives. And Jim, I'll ask you to kick us off because CLO has had a lot of changes and adaptation over the last 6 months.
Yes. So, I think before all this hit, we expected to continue things, business as usual at the Academy, have some great summer camps, continue to inspire kids to perform and be a part of that. But I think that it's just made us be more creative. We've been able to get a lot of classes online. All of our classes have gone online at the Academy. We did some really incredible summer programming with some Broadway performers that we wouldn't have had the opportunity to work with and open up those doors. And now we're, starting into a new semester at the Academy, starting on September 14th. Where we're working with, again, like trying to figure out how to even better learn online, and as well as then as soon as we can, deal with the ways to be back in person. And because I think we need to be together as artists and performers, but we need to do it in the safest way possible. So we are doing all sorts of things, and the work is constantly going at the Academy to continue to make sure that students have that incredible artistic outlet and can learn from fantastic performers and teachers like Jason.
That's right. Does anyone else want to attack that question? I know it's a big one or a challenging one.
I'd say the last 6 months has been, at some point early on, I got the thought in my head that this was going to be like a giant reset button. And I feel like that's what's been happening. There's been a lot of change in the world as well as in my life. Theater's on hold, so I have to find new, career options. Got to make the money. So like there's new options I'm exploring in that. A lot of things have gotten put into perspective for a lot of people. So I just feel like my initial thought of it being a giant reset button has been kind of true. So that's how I've been dealing with it.
Yeah. And Sage, I just read a great article with you in Pittsburgh Magazine about the fact that you've been performing at home, the fact that you're volunteering, that this summer, in which, and I think I could say this, you were actually going to be in a show with CLO this summer that unfortunately didn't get to happen. Sage was a part of the cast of Puffs, which we're going to be rescheduling for next year. But Sage, what has your summer looked like?
So my summer has looked like me releasing my own personal music with my band. It's called Samurai Velvet. So that's been really cool because I've never done that before, and I feel like I finally have the time to, put effort into promotion of that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also just been a wake-up call to just giving and receiving compassion for me. So the organization that I work at, it's my dad's, it's called Center of Life. And we basically just work on empowering the community of Hazelwood. And it's just been very clarifying, I guess, to be able to understand how this pandemic has hit different households. And to be there and to try and help as best as I can, whether it's meal deliveries or I don't know, just finding where baby supplies are, just things that I never even would have thought of because I'm just a 21-year-old or a 24-year-old single person, just things I would never think of. They're the most important thing right now because of this pandemic. So I've kind of redirected my focus from theater just because it's not happening. And now I'm focused on just seeing everybody around me and making sure everyone's okay. So I'm okay with that. I think that was nice. I think I agree with Jason. It's been a good reset just to understand the human experience.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Sarah, what's your summer been like, or spring into summer into soon to be fall?
Basically, I'm working on a musical right now, and I've been spending my time writing that and developing it and kind of looking for collaborators. It's definitely also been a time of reconnecting with people. I think in this time, like a lot of people who might lost touch. I've gone back in touch with a lot of people that I care about really deeply, and that's been a really wonderful experience. So, yeah.
That's great. Well, I'm glad to hear that you are all finding new ways to thrive and exist and be creative and give back. And thank you all so much for giving of your time to chat with us today about this amazing program. We feel really honored that you all are a part of the history of this program, and some of you for many years, some of you in more recent history, but we are so grateful to you for joining us today, for sharing a little bit of your perspective on Gallery of Heroes. And we are going to let these beautiful folks go. Thank you all so much. I hope that we get to see your faces in person sometime soon. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you. Bye, folks. And bye. And as we wrap up today, we are going to leave you with a song from Beyond the Moon, On Their Way. This is an amazing cast recording from that original cast. Thank you so much, Joe and Christina, for sharing this song with us. It features Sage and Sarah, who you just met, as well as their fellow cast members, Gabe DeRose, Daniel Keitel, and Nathaniel Yost. I want to thank everyone again for joining us on the show today. I want to thank Becca and Sid behind the scenes, who always keep us running so smoothly. Thank you so much, Becca and Sid. And come say hi. We didn't get to see you last time because there were too many people on screen when we were talking to our other collaborators. So hi, Becca. I bet Sid is having technical issues. Thank you so much to Steph Barletto, our graphic designer, for our beautiful graphics, to Adam Overett for our opening theme song. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Mark is going to be chatting with Sharon Eberson, Pittsburgh writer and theater reviewer. It's going to be a great conversation. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time. Be well.
We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
Reporting live from Cape Canaveral, Florida on this historic day, July 16, 1969. We are just seconds away from the launch of Apollo 11, carrying astronauts Buzz Aldrin, Mike Collins, and Neil Armstrong to the moon.
Hey guys, I found the video. This is it.
Are you sure?
Are you kidding me? Of course I'm sure. I've only seen it like 100 times. Every moment, every second, I know it all by heart. When the countdown reaches 7, all the engines will start. You can feel it, like we're really there. The tension in the air is they're about to depart.
What a moment, that summer day, as the engines ignite.
From a rocket in the distance, there's a flash of light.
Hear the rumble, then a roaring. A minute more, they'll be soaring.
With the earth shaking, the world awaking to a dream-taking flight.
We have a liftoff. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
Liftoff, blast off, finally casting off what held them to the ground. Look at where they're bound, flying higher. They set the world on fire that historic day. They were on their way.
Second stage separation complete. You're looking good, Apollo.
To the moon! How fast are they going? 10,000 miles per hour and gaining speed! Oh, that's amazing! They're blazing through the atmosphere, faster than even Superman.
And they know no fear.
You can't go wrong with Neil Armstrong. Won't take him long to be the hero they all cheer. Look, now they're in orbit, sailing around the Earth.
Floating, falling in no gravity.
And the moon is calling from a starry sea.
One final inspection, it all works to perfection. So they take a breath and say goodbye as they're breaking free. Lift off, blast off, don't look back at last. You're off and ready to explore that distant shore. Flying higher, there's something so inspiring to hear you say you're on your way. Apollo 11 approaching the moon.
Drifting to the right a little. 30 seconds. Forward. Drifting right.
Touching down on another land.
Contact light. The Eagle has landed. Roger, Tranquility.
Survey the surface, savor the view.
Almost like a powder.
Racing hearts, steady hands.
We're all here with bated breath, Apollo.
The world is waiting, no time for sleep. Down the ladder as planned.
Going to step off the lamp now.
One small step.
That's one small step for man.
One giant leap.
One giant leap for mankind.
So simple, so grand. And just like that, with a step or two, the universe became something new. And since that day, there were more than a few who are wishing they could be the next two. Lift off, blast off, finally casting off what holds us to the ground. Ready to us down, flying higher, we'll set the world on fire if we learn to say we're